And now, the Hall of Fantasy. Welcome to the Hall of Fantasy. Welcome to the series of radio dramas dedicated to the supernatural, the unusual, and the unknown. Come with me, my friends. We shall descend to the world of the unknown and forbidden, down to the depths where the veil of time is lifted, and the supernatural reigns as king. Come with me and listen to the tale of the Jewels of Coyne.
Is that you, Kettridge?
Yes.
I heard a scream.
Yes, so did I.
It sounded like Sheldon.
You'd better take a look.
Yes. Sheldon, are you all right? Sheldon?
Here. Let me light a match.
Sheldon, are you... Kettridge. What's the matter with them? Both of them.
They're dead. The Hall of Fantasy will present the Jewels of Coyne in just a moment. And now for our story entitled The Jewels of Coyne.
I hear and obey, Mother Coyne. If need be, I shall follow them to the ends of the earth, and they shall know that I follow them. Peace they shall not have, nor quiet rest, and their days shall be lived in fear of the death that creeps behind them. One by one shall they die, and I shall return to you bearing with me the jewels of Coyne.
I didn't know till later why George Mayer had asked us to meet him at his cabin on the lake. Elaine and I knew that Kettridge was going to be there, but we couldn't understand why he hadn't gone to George's apartment in the city. At any rate, we wanted to hear about Kettridge's trip to India, and so Friday evening we drove out of the city, heading for the cabin.
Looks like it's going to rain.
Yeah, maybe the storm won't break till we get to the cabin, though.
Well, I hope not. It makes it treacherous driving on wet roads.
I don't think we'll have any trouble.
Do you know Kettridge, Lloyd?
I met him once, it was all. I doubt if he'll remember me. It was a long time ago. 3 or 4 years before we were married.
There have been several stories in the paper lately about the Kettridge expedition. The reporters have been comparing it to the men who found the tomb of Tutankhamun.
I know. 2 of his party died before they left India, and another one over here. That only leaves Kettridge and Porter.
And they're saying that some kind of curse follows the members of the expedition.
Well, that's superstitious nonsense, Elaine. The 3 who died were older men. Because they died within a few weeks of each other, the papers are having a field day. It builds up circulation.
I don't know, Lloyd. I think there's more to it than that.
How do you mean?
I don't know. It's a feeling I have. A lot of the stories jumped from one thing to another, as if they were deliberately leaving something out. Something too terrible to put down.
Well, here's that storm. The rain's going to slow us down.
Be careful. I'd just as soon get there in one piece.
Don't worry, you will. Are you really serious about those stories you read?
Yes, Lloyd, I am. I'm just as serious as I can be. I'm sure that there's a lot more behind those stories. Something that might make us think twice before going up to this cabin.
You know how it is. Every once in a while we get a warning, a premonition of things to come. That's what had happened to Elaine. She didn't know what it was, but she knew that something was wrong. What she didn't know was that we would meet death up there at the cabin. It took us an hour longer than it usually did to reach George's cabin.
Do you have everything?
I guess so.
Well, let's go then.
All right. It's going to feel mighty good to get inside.
Did Kettridge drive up with George?
I think he's coming up by himself.
Oh, well, he's not here then. Look, there's only George's car.
Yeah, he'll probably get here soon.
It certainly gets cold up here at night.
Oh, he must have heard us drive up.
Hey, hi, George.
Hi, George.
So you made it all right.
Yeah?
Oh, why shouldn't we?
Well, a storm and all. I thought maybe you wouldn't come. Come on in.
Kettridge hasn't arrived yet, has he?
Oh, no. Just set your things down over there.
Pleasure.
Maybe it's a good thing we came up here after all, George. I can get in a little fishing.
Tomorrow morning, we'll go out early.
Good.
Now, how about a hot cup of coffee?
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
Well, just sit on down. I'll get it for you.
All right.
You want some, don't you, Lane?
Oh, try to stop me.
I wonder when Kettridge will get here.
Oh, pretty soon, I imagine. Take your cups. He's a pretty worried fellow.
Why?
Well, you saw the papers, didn't you?
Yes, we saw the stories.
I'll leave this here in case you want seconds.
Good.
Is there anything to those stories, George? Well, Kettridge says there is.
How do you mean?
Well, he says he's lucky to be alive.
Why?
He said something about Kali's curse.
Curse?
That's right. He seems to think that everyone who is in the Lost Temple is going to die. That there's no hope for any of them.
What was that?
An animal.
A dog. Or a wolf, probably.
Oh.
Why does he think that they're going to die?
Well, probably because 3 of the party already have. He and Porter are the only ones left. He seems to think there was a curse on any who defiled the Lost Temple of Kali, especially on those who took the jewels of Kali.
This is the first time I've heard anything about jewels. What jewels?
Well, Kettridge told me that the idol held a ruby in each of its 4 hands. His group took the jewels. And ever since, their steps have been followed by death.
Listen.
Don't get so nervous, Elaine. It's probably just a dog out in the rain.
That wasn't a dog.
Then what was it?
I don't know.
Hey, a car just pulled up outside. Well, that must be Kettridge. Henry? Is that you?
Yes, I'll be right in.
Lloyd,
Yes, dear.
that wasn't an animal I heard.
You're letting your imagination get the best of you. Then calm down.
Well, it's so good to see you, Henry.
Well, thank you, George.
Henry. Henry, these are the Erskines. Lloyd and Elaine. Henry Kettridge.
How do you do? It's a
How do you
pleasure.
do?
Cup of coffee, Henry?
No, thank you.
What's the matter? Anything wrong?
Yes, plenty.
What is it?
Just before I left town, I learned that Porter had died.
What?
Yes, that's right. Porter and I were the only ones left, and now he's dead. I'm the last one of the party left alive. That my turn is next.
What about the jewels?
I have them, all of them, with me. Porter gave me the 2 he had. He said he didn't want them anymore. He was afraid, and he thought that by giving them away to me, that he would escape death. But he was wrong. It didn't do him any good. That means that I am the last one, that soon, perhaps within the next few hours, I'll be dead too. We'll return to the Hall of Fantasy and the tale of the Jewels of Kali in just a moment. Back now to the Hall of Fantasy and the tale of the Jewels of Kali.
The storm seemed to be getting worse. We stood there, the 4 of us, in George Mayer's cabin. Our eyes were turned to Henry Kettridge, whose face was white and drawn with the fear he felt inside of him.
That means that I'm the last one, that soon, perhaps within the next few hours, I'll be dead too.
Do you really believe that, Mr. Kettridge?
What else do you expect me to believe? There were 5 of us on that trip, 4 are dead. I'm the only one left alive.
Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, it's not a pleasant tale, believe me.
Tell us what happened.
All right. We'd heard stories of a lost temple of Kali. As you know, the British government outlawed Kali worship many years ago. But we had heard of a lost temple some 15 miles northwest of the Indian city of Amritsar. We'd heard also that she held in each of her 4 hands jewels of tremendous wealth, each one a fortune in itself. We set out from Amritsar. None of us knew that we were walking to certain death. It is a particularly barren country, rocky and mountainous. We had a difficult time traveling. At length, however, we came across a valley hidden by the encircling mountains. I remember it was towards dusk. Porter and I saw it first.
Kettridge. Look.
Yes, I see it, Porter.
That must be the Lost Temple.
Sitting down there in the center of the valley.
I imagine it is.
Those stories about the priceless jewels. Do you think they're true?
The stories about the lost temple were true, weren't they?
Yes, only What was that?
I don't know. We heard the voice then for the first time. The sun had just slipped behind the mountains, and the sky was dulling quickly into ever more darker shades of blue. The voice seemed to filter through the air, so that it seemed to come from all directions at once. We decided then to push on that night, to travel until we reached the lost temple. We reached the temple several hours later, and stood there, bathed in the shimmering light of the moon. I think that all of us at that moment sensed that there was something inside that temple, something that was alive and wasn't just a graven image in stone. Yet, we couldn't turn back. We walked inside the temple. No one was there save for the black and besmeared idol of Kali, who held out her 4 stone arms beckoning to us. We stopped before her and saw that in each of her 4 hands she held a huge, glittering ruby. We took the gems and left the temple. Later that night, we made camp. All of us felt that we'd done something wrong, but we knew that we wouldn't return the rubies. Sometime after we'd retired for the night, I heard the voice. But I put it down to my imagination. I must have fallen off to sleep. What woke me was Sheldon's scream.
Is that you, Kentridge?
Yes.
I heard a scream.
Yes, so did I.
It sounded like Sheldon.
Better take a look.
Right. Sheldon, are you all right? Sheldon.
Let me light a match.
Sheldon, are you all... Kentridge. What's the matter with them? Both of them.
They're dead. Both Sheldon and Friedman were dead. Around their throat, we saw the ugly imprint of the stranglers, the fancy guards rope. Kali, the wife of Siva, had struck back at us. Sheldon and Friedman were the first to die. Manning was next, and tonight I learned that Porter had joined them. I'm the only one left.
They all died the same way?
Yes, with the fancy guards rope around their necks. Here, I'll show you the jewels. Those are the jewels of Kali.
Oh, I've never seen anything so beautiful.
They're so large. I'd like to examine them more closely.
Don't touch them, George. To touch them means death. What was that?
Well, just the sound of an animal out in the storm.
Well, I hope it was only that.
You don't think they followed you out here, do you?
They would follow me anywhere. Those who worship Kali. Either they would, or she would.
She would? Why, you talk as if you think that stone idol of Kali were alive.
Yes, I do. It sounds insane, I know. But I'm firmly convinced that that stone idol lives in a way not apparent to us. And that she will demand revenge for the wrong we've done her.
Now, calm down, Henry.
I can't be calm with the knowledge that she demands her revenge. I can't be calm when I know that she will only be satisfied when I am dead. Just like all the others. Listen.
I heard that cry earlier tonight.
And they followed me here.
What?
That's right. They followed me here. For the sound you just heard was the cry of the priests of Kali. She's out there somewhere. Somewhere in the storm.
You don't mean that you believe that the idol of Kali is out there in the storm waiting for you?
Either the idol itself or one of her followers.
Lloyd, let's take a look outside.
All right. Don't go out there.
No nonsense, Henry. If anything's out there, we might as well see what it is.
Be careful.
Don't worry about a thing.
All right. You ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
Do you think he's telling the truth?
Well, there'd be no reason for him to lie to us.
I still can't believe it.
Well, we'll see if there's anybody around the cabin itself.
If he's telling the truth... George?
What?
Look, over there, by the window.
Oh, I don't see anything.
I thought I saw someone over there. Let's take a look.
All right. Now, you must have been mistaken.
I don't see how.
There's not even any footprints outside the window. Wait a minute.
What's the matter?
This.
What'd you find?
It's a piece of rope. Or rather, a noose with a knot in it. Maybe Kettridge is right. Maybe someone is following him.
What do you mean?
Kettridge has described this noose to me before. This is the type of rope and knot the fancy-cars used, Lloyd. This is the sacrificial rope of the priests of Kali.
You are listening to the tale of The Jewels of Kali on this week's journey down the corridors of the Hall of Fantasy. We'll return to our story in just a moment. And now, back to our story entitled The Jewels of Kali.
Henry Kettridge felt sure that someone was outside the cabin, hidden from us by the storm. George and I had gone outside to see if we could find anything. For a moment, I thought I saw a man standing next to the cabin by the window. When we walked over to look, we found nothing but a noose of rope.
Kettridge has described this noose to me before. This is the type of rope and knot the fancy-cars used, Lloyd. This is the sacrificial rope of the priests of Kali.
How did it get here?
I don't know. Well, there are no footprints here, except ours.
I thought I saw someone standing over here. I can't be sure, but I thought I saw someone.
If anyone has been over here, we'd be able to see their footprints.
Then how did the rope get here?
I don't know.
Listen.
Yes, I heard it too.
There is someone out there.
But where? You can't see anything because of the storm.
We better get back inside.
I think you're right. Let's go.
Are we going to show Kettridge?
Yes. I'm sorry I asked you and your wife up here, Lloyd. If I'd known anything like this was going to happen...
Oh, forget it. Look. Do you see what I see?
Yes. Just for a second, outlined by the lightning, it looked like the statue of a woman with 4 arms.
Kali comes for you.
Lloyd?
Yes.
I hear the sound of heavy, slow steps.
Let's get inside.
Right.
Do you see anything?
Let us inside.
Here.
What's the matter, Lloyd? You look as if you'd seen a ghost.
We found this.
The strangler's rope.
That's right, and
And what else?
we saw something else.
What did you see, man? Tell me.
The lightning flashed a moment, and we saw something that looked like a statue of a woman with 4 arms.
She reached them out to us and said, Kali comes for you.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What are we going to do?
Maybe we'd better go out to the cars and get away from here. What do you say, George?
I think you're right.
Don't be insane. You wouldn't have a chance. They won't let us get away. If we go outside that door, we'll be walking to our deaths.
What do you propose doing? Waiting here until they come for us?
Yes. At least they won't be able to get us outside in the dark.
I think we should take our chance and leave.
So do I.
And I agree with them. Waiting here only means certain death for all of us. If we make a run for it, we may get away.
Let's get our things together and leave.
All right.
Yes.
Stop.
Huh?
You're going to stay here with me.
Henry, where'd you get that gun?
I've carried it with me ever since I left India. We're not leaving. We're going to wait here.
Don't be a fool, Kettridge.
I'm not being a fool. I'm tired of running. This is the end of the trail for me. I'm not running anymore. And you're not going to either.
Maybe we can get away, Henry.
Maybe. I don't think so. Stay where you are, George. I'm warning you.
Don't you think that if...
The next time the bullet won't be over your head.
All right, Henry. You win.
Look, I don't like to do this. There's no other way. Ever since we returned to the States and split up, I've had to face this thing alone. It's only a question of time when they'll catch up with me. I can't run anymore. I can't face death alone. Maybe they won't hurt you. There's no reason why they should. After all, you didn't steal the jewels of Kali. We did. And I'm the only one of that group's left alive. They all died alone. I don't want to. I need people near me, so that when it comes, I can face my death with courage and not die like a screaming coward.
All right, Henry. We give you our word. We won't run away.
Thank you.
Kali comes for you.
It won't be long now. We have only to wait.
Take a look out the window, Lloyd. See if you can see anything.
Right.
Do you see anything?
It's so dark out there with the storm and all, I can't see. Wait a minute. The lightning. The thing is less than 100 feet from the cabin.
What?
The idol, the idol.
I hear it out there.
It's getting close to the cabin.
You three, Get over to the other side of the room. I'll stay here.
But we can't.
There's no time to argue. Get over there quickly.
What are you going to do, Henry?
I'll wait for it here. Maybe the gun will stop it.
Oh, it's on the porch outside.
Be quiet.
It's just outside the door.
Be quiet. Don't move. No matter what happens.
It stopped.
In just a moment, it's going to hit.
Kali comes for you. Look out, Henry.
Stay away from me. Stay away.
Is it gone?
Yes, it's gone. And it took Henry and the jewels back with it.
Where did it come from?
Henry believed that it came all the way from the Lost Temple, 50 miles northwest of the Indian city of Amritsar.
But what was it? That black grinning face with the grotesque body and those 4 arms.
That was Kali, the wife of Siva, the Hindu deity of destruction. If I hadn't seen it, I would never have believed it. Yes, I know, but you did see it. The stone idol was here. All the way from India, it came to fulfill the curse on those who defiled the temple and stole the jewels of Kali.
I hear and obey, Mother Kali. I shall follow them to the ends of the earth, and they shall know that I follow them. Peace they shall not have, nor quiet rest, and their days shall be lived in fear of the death who creeps behind them. One by one shall they die, and we shall return, bearing with us the jewels of Kali.
Kali!
So runs tonight's tale of the unusual, the terrifying, the unknown. Join us again when next we journey down the corridors of the Hall of Fantasy to hear another strange tale of the supernatural. All characters and events portrayed in these programs are fictional, and any similarity to actual events or persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental.
And now, the Hall of Fantasy. Welcome to the Hall of Fantasy. Welcome to the series of radio dramas dedicated to the supernatural, the unusual, and the unknown. Come with me, my friends. We shall descend to the world of the unknown and forbidden, down to the depths where the veil of time is lifted, and the supernatural reigns as king. Come with me and listen to the tale of the Shadow People.
Elaine, have you seen anything else since you spoke to me last?
No, I haven't. Ever since Mother died, nothing's happened.
Well, I only hope it came from upstairs. Come on. I don't know what to think. I only hope it...
David, if anything's happened to him...
We'll see in a moment.
There's no light in his room.
You wait here, Elaine. Where's the light?
Over to your left. David, what's wrong? Why didn't you leave the light on?
Your father's dead, Elaine.
In just a moment, the Hall of Fantasy will present The Shadow People. And now for our story. An original tale of fantasy by Richard Thorne entitled The Shadow People.
Somewhere along the line of your life, you've met them. You have come in contact with the shadow people. When did we first discuss it? Oh, yes, Brian and Elaine and I. It was in my apartment. There was only one light on in the entire place. What's wrong? Elaine, what's the matter?
Oh, it's silly, I know, but I thought I saw something in that doorway over there.
Where?
Over there, right over there. Where are you going, David?
Over to that archway, just to let you know that nothing's here. Huh. You see, Elaine, nothing's wrong, nothing at all. Are you satisfied that there's no one else here but us?
Yes, I'm sorry. I just thought that Leave the overhead lights on.
I'm sorry, I thought that...
Put them back on, David, please.
All right, Elaine. Look, what's bothering you, sis?
I don't know. It's just that... I don't know.
Tell us about it, Elaine. Tell us what's bothering you.
You promise that you won't laugh at me?
Of course not.
Brian?
Oh, Elaine, I'm your brother. If something's troubling you, I'd like to know about it.
All right, then. The reason I was so upset was the fact that I saw someone or something standing in that archway.
But, Elaine, David showed you that there was no one else in here. When the lights were put on, you saw for yourself that we were alone.
I'm not talking about something you can see in the light, Brian. I'm not talking about a human being.
Then what's it all about, Elaine?
In the darkness, I saw something that can't be seen in a lighted area. And I've seen it several times before.
You're sure you're not imagining this, Elaine?
Oh, I don't have that good an imagination, Brian.
How long have you seen this thing, Elaine?
Well, it started about 6 weeks ago. You were in Detroit on business, Brian. Mom and Dad were on vacation. I was in the house by myself, in the library. There was only one light on. I sat in the chair beneath it, reading. Several times I thought that something was watching me. I felt there was someone in the room with me, standing right in back of me. Every so often I'd glance back over my shoulder, but there seemed to be nothing there. And then I thought I heard someone whispering. I wasn't sure, but when I heard it again, I got up and I looked all over the house. Oh, I'm not easily frightened, you know that, but out in the hallway, it was almost entirely black. Luckily, I was near a light switch. I looked back over my shoulder, and I saw this huge, hulking shape for the first time. And I heard a voice. Or rather, the whisper of a voice. I couldn't distinguish the words, but that dark shape seemed to be moving towards me. My hand was on the light switch, and I turned it on. In a minute, the light flooded the hallway. The shape was gone. There was nothing there. I was alone again. As long as there's light, I know it can't hurt me. I know it can't reach me.
You might have imagined it, you know.
Of course, that's possible, but I'm sure I didn't. It was so real. So real, that shape in the darkness. It was the very essence of evil itself.
There was an old man I knew of, a Dr. Heselius. I'd heard that he knew quite a good deal about the supposed supernatural manifestations which had taken place in the world. I went to him to see if he knew anything that might explain the events of the story Elaine had told us.
Yes, my good sir. What do you wish?
I have an appointment with Dr. Heselius.
Oh, yes. He mentioned something about it. You are Mr. Drake?
Yes.
If you'll come inside.
Thank you.
Dr. Heselius is in the study. Please come with me. Doctor, a visitor for you.
Oh, yes. Bring him in. You may go now.
Yes, Doctor.
Mr. Drake?
Yes.
Sit down, please, in that chair over there.
Thank you, sir.
Now, what is the nature of your visit to me?
Well, I understand, Dr. Heselius, that you have a great knowledge of the supernatural manifestations which have occurred on the earth.
Great knowledge, Mr. Drake? No, hardly that. I have only scratched the surface in my years of study. Perhaps I can help you. Then again, perhaps I cannot.
Well, may I tell you the story?
By all means, my good sir.
All right. Now, this didn't happen to me, Doctor, but to my fiancée. It seems that about 6 weeks ago, when she was alone. But when the light was on, the dark form disappeared. And that's the story, sir. As much of it as I can remember.
Mm-hmm. I see. It's a strange tale you tell.
I'm fully aware of that, Dr. Lucilius.
You say she seemed to hear whispered voices?
Yes, that's what she says.
I see. A moment, please. I have a book in my file. Oh, yes. Here it is. This is the one. Yes. Perhaps I may be able to help you after all. Let me see. This is a very ancient book, Mr. Drake. I seem to remember... Yes. Here is an account of a happening such as you relate. And we shall live on the earth, and they shall not
see us. Yes, it has been foretold by the ruler of the darkness. They who live by day and retire to sleep by night shall never know that we walk with them, that we watch them, that we wait for our chance. Only in the night will they see us, for in the daylight we are not seen. Only in the night, when the darkness grows together and the forms of the shadow people are shaped from the blackness, they will know us.
Then they will know that we are their companions, for we are the shadow people. I knew I had read something similar to the story you have told me, Mr. Drake.
Dr. Aselius, what can we do?
Well, give me a little time. Let me see if I can find any more references to these people of the darkness. One more thing, Mr. Drake. Be sure that your fiancée is never left alone at night. Be sure that there is some living thing, animal or human, which accompanies her every second of the night. For she is in danger, Mr. Drake. A terrible danger.
Back now to our story. An original tale of fantasy by Richard Thorne entitled The Shadow People.
That night, the night of the day I had seen Hecelius, Elaine's mother died. She died in her sleep. When she failed to appear for breakfast, Elaine's father went upstairs to see what was wrong. When he entered her room, he discovered that she was dead. The family doctor couldn't explain it, for Elaine's mother had been in perfect health. A few weeks later, I was out at the house spending a weekend with them. I glanced at the clock on the mantel, and it showed 11.
I can't understand why Brian hasn't returned from town.
Well, he said he had some extra work to catch up on. He told me this morning that he might be late.
Well, 11 o'clock. I'm going upstairs. Glad you came out, David. It's good seeing you again.
It's a pleasure to be here, sir.
Well, don't stay up too late. See you both in the morning. Good night.
Night, Ted.
Good night, Mr. Davis.
He isn't the same, David. Ever since Mother died, he hasn't been the same.
I didn't realize that until tonight. He's changed.
I only hope that he'll start living again. Ever since she died, it seems that a part of him died with her.
Elaine, have you seen anything else since you spoke to me last?
No, I haven't. Ever since Mother died, nothing's happened.
Well, I only hope... Came from upstairs. Come on.
You don't think...
I don't know what to think. I only hope that...
David, if anything's happened to it...
We'll see in a moment.
There's no light in this room.
You wait here, Elaine. Where's the light?
Over to your left. David, what's wrong? Why didn't you leave the light on?
Your father's dead, Elaine. I'd walked into the darkened bedroom. On the bed was Elaine's father. It didn't take a second look for me to know that he was dead. I switched off the light and walked back into the hallway to tell Elaine what happened. And then from the room there had come an eerie, quiet laughter. In the darkness of that room was some unknown evil power. The voice itself was unearthly. There was no substance to it. It sounded as if it came from the darkness itself.
No. No, I don't believe you.
It's the truth, Elaine. There's nothing more I can do. We'll have to notify the police.
Tell me it's not the truth, David. Tell me it's not true.
I'm sorry, Elaine. I wish I could. Your father's dead. After the burial, Dr. Heselius got in touch with me. He said that he wanted to meet both Elaine and Brian, that he wanted to talk to the three of us. Accordingly, a few nights later, he came out to their house.
Miss Davis, will you tell me just when you saw the first manifestation?
The night Brian was in Detroit.
Now, Miss Davis, you have even seen this apparition in the company of other people, is that correct?
Yes. The night at David's apartment.
All right. Now I'll tell you what I think. You are in deadly danger, Miss Davis. These beings want to claim you. So far, they have had no success. Only in the darkness do they have power. Little by little, step by step, they have been removing the obstacles in their way to reaching you. First your mother, and then your father, Miss Davis. Both died in the same fashion. In the darkness, death struck at them. Now tell me, do you feel their presence here in this room as I talk to you?
Yes.
Turn out the lights, Brian. No. Stand by the switch, if you please, Brian. If anything happens, turn the lights back on.
All right. Dr. Heselius, I don't...
Do you want me to continue working with you?
Yes, sir.
All right, then. Brian, turn off the lights.
Yes, Doctor.
The room now is in darkness, Miss Davis. Do you feel or see anything?
No, Yes. Yes, I do.
Do you see anything?
Yes.
Doctor, I don't...
Be quiet, you fool. I know what I'm doing.
In front of me. The darkness gathering together into a huge, terrible...
Not only do you see us, Miss Davis, but everyone else in the room also will see the vague shapes forming themselves in the blackness. We do not want you, Dr. Heselius. The girl we want. We advise you to drop this case. You'll only bring down the wrath of the shadow people upon your head. The girl. We want the girl. Do not stop us. Let us take her now.
Turn on the light!
They're gone.
Miss Davis, are you all right?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Just as she said. The darkness. I saw it form into something, too. So did I. What are we going to do, Dr. Heselius?
At the present moment, I don't know. But this much I do know. You must leave this house immediately. You must try to get out of their reach. I don't know if that is possible. I hope it is. I shall have to return to my home. I must learn if there is some manner by which we can defeat these creatures. For the moment, leave this house. Dispose of it in any manner you may see fit, but leave this house.
Back now to our story. An original tale of fantasy by Richard Thorne entitled The Shadow People.
We spent the night in my apartment, the three of us. The following day, Brian and Elaine made arrangements to dispose of the house. In the afternoon, Dr. Heselius called me and asked that I come to see him.
David, I'm glad you're here.
Anything new, Doctor?
Yes and no. You realize, of course, that this spiritual manifestation is not new, that it has gone on for centuries.
No, I wasn't aware of that.
It's true, David. De Maupassant wrote what was supposedly a fiction story about the manifestation, David. He called it Orla. However, according to the information here on my desk, it was taken from an actual case history. Of course, he embroidered the story, added a few touches to something he didn't realize actually existed.
But have you found anything with which we can fight them?
Everything depends upon an answer I received from a colleague of mine in Paris, Dr. Henri Renaud. I dispatched a telegram to him last night.
Why hasn't he answered by now?
There are certain things that must be done. It will take a few days, I'm afraid. We have to wait, David. There's nothing else we can do.
In the next few days, the house was sold, and Brian and Elaine moved into a newer, more modern home a few miles from my apartment. Cecilia said it might take a few days for them to build up their power. I spent the nights at the new house. The lights were left on, and I watched for any unusual occurrence. In the daytime, I'd return to my apartment and get some sleep. About 4 days after Elaine and Brian moved into the new house, I was at home when Heselius phoned me. Hello?
David?
Yes, Dr. Heselius?
I hate to tell you this, David.
What's the matter? What's wrong?
They were a step ahead of me, David. I just received word that Renaud died or was killed. At the very moment I sent the telegram to him.
Step by step, they had outwitted us. For they had anticipated every move we'd make. Even Dr. Heselius was at a loss as to what to do. He agreed to meet me at the Davis house.
What did you want to see us about, Dr. Heselius?
Did you find out anything more?
I'm sorry to say that I haven't. At the moment, I'm at a complete loss. I don't know what to do.
But what did you want to see us about this evening?
Merely to check, to see if anything else has happened. Miss Davis, have you seen or heard anything?
Not in the house, only in my dreams.
Your dreams?
Yes. When I go to sleep at night, in my dreams, in the darkness, I see them.
And it's grown worse, much worse. I was hoping that it would not have progressed so far. There has been no disturbance in this house, but now they disturb your sleep, Miss Davis. Now, you must stay awake for as long as you can. I want the three of you to move into my house. Perhaps that will give you more protection.
That night, we moved over to Heselius' house. Perhaps Elaine would have more protection there. From there, we might be able to devise some plan of action, some way to beat those beings. For a few days, things were quiet. The shadow people seemed to have withdrawn. For a while, I thought that we might have succeeded in thwarting their purpose. Elaine no longer complained of troubled sleep. But that condition lasted for a few days only. About 10 days later, they made themselves known and felt again. That night, we were in the study, when suddenly Heselius whirled around and...
Elaine, what are you looking at?
Outside the house. Right where the light leaves off, I see them.
She's right, Dr. Heselius. I can see them, too. What should we do, Doctor?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
There's nothing we can do.
We can't just...
We can't do anything, Brian. Don't you understand that they have us at their mercy? The greatest man in my field was Henri Renaud. If he could do nothing against them, what do you think we could do?
He's right, Brian. There's nothing we can do.
As long as the house remains lighted, just so long will they remain outside. If the lights were...
That sounds...
When my father was killed, the same sound. We heard the same sound.
The lights. What's happened to the lights, all right?
Be quiet, please. I thought of this emergency.
A candle.
That's right, Miss Davis. As long as this burns, this one candle will be safe. For they cannot advance into the light. They are limited by the darkness. As long as the candle burns, they will have to remain outside of this room.
Around you, in every room of the house, in the darkness outside, we are around you. This time you shall not escape. This time we will blame you.
Take it easy, Brian.
I can't stand it. I'm getting out of here.
Brian, come back.
Don't you fool. I'm going after him.
Stay here.
We just can't let him
He
go.
won't have a chance. I doubt it. Miss Davis, I'm afraid that your brother is dead.
The wind, Doctor. Listen to the wind.
I know.
Yes, Doctor. Listen to the wind. You must realize by now that the three of you haven't a chance. You must know in your minds that we can destroy you at any moment we desire. But, Dr. Heselius, you may still save your own life. Let the others go. Give them to us.
No. No, you will have to take all of us.
Shall we destroy your light? Shall we move in on you now?
As you will. Do as you will. Sorry, David. The candle is out.
In the darkness. We warned you, Heselius. You and the others are dead now. And we shall live on the earth. And man in the day shall not see us. They will know that we wait for our chance, that we walk with them. Only in the night, when the darkness grows together, and the forms of the shadow people are shaped from the blackness, will they see us. Then they will know that we are their companions. Look. Next to you, there, in the shadows.
So runs tonight's tale of the unusual, the terrifying, the unknown. Join us again when next we journey down the corridors of the Hall of Fantasy to hear another strange tale of the supernatural. All characters and events portrayed in these programs are fictional, and any similarity to actual events or persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental.